Hey, you guys. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. While you guys are coming in, I'm going to go ahead and go live on IG. Great morning. Great morning. Y'all come on in. Let me go ahead and share. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Come on in, you guys. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Let me know who's here and where you are tuning in from. While y'all are coming in, I'm going to go ahead and share. Great morning. Thank you, April, for sharing. I appreciate that. All right. Let me hit these groups real quick and then we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Oh, y'all, today, listen, I'm just going to go on and tell y'all, this is a word of conviction. This word convicted me. Most people it's going to convict. So just know that. Like, this is a word of conviction. This is not the jump around and feel good word. This is, ooh, you probably gonna feel convicted after this live, okay? Great morning, baby. I love you. Oh my goodness. Come on, let me be great. Hey, Jackie, great morning, beautiful. All right. All right. I got a couple more and then I'm going to be ready. Hey, Phoenicia, how are you, beautiful? All right. Okay, y'all. So, y'all know what we do. Y'all know we got to get it started, right? So this right here is a one-shot thing. Hey, Kareen, how you doing, beautiful? This is a one-shotter, okay? But you know, we got another one. My baby opened one. All right, y'all ready? Here we are. It's time to get alive. Okay, here we go. Shot, 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 shot. Shot, 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 shot. Everybody shake, shake, shake. Shake the devil off. A, B, C. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. I'm telling you, do, re, mi, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3. Alive. It's you and me. Mwah. Y'all know what we do? We shake it up, pour it up, and drink it up. All right. So here we go. Like literally one shot. All right. Here's the following the instructions. my baby together. Babe, you're going to have to do it. I can't. The top part. All right. So listen, Linda, listen. This one was a tough one for me. May not be tough for y'all, but it was tough for me because there was so much conviction in it. You know, God, in his infinite wisdom, will provide resources and place people in your life to help you to get to where he's taking you, right? So this is what God began to show me today. I was listening to Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, chapter 3, which is the chapter on faith, right? And as I was listening to it, he said something, and it might have been in that chapter, or I went on to this chapter on auto-suggestion. It may have been in that chapter, but this is what he said. If you follow the instructions exactly as they are given, and you do not deviate, you will eventually get the result. He said, if you follow the instructions and do not deviate, you will eventually get the results. You may not see the results immediately, but you will eventually get the results, right? Now, I don't know about y'all, and maybe y'all are good at following instructions. But the moment I get instructions, right? I'm like, okay. The more I meditate on the instructions, I'm probably going to figure out some way that I think that it can be done easier, better, faster, or I want the results quicker, so I do more. And I began to just be convicted, right? And I said, wow. Yesterday, our the founder of Envision You, was doing a training. He was doing our vision mastery call. And one of the things I love about him is the fact that he is such an anointed man of God, right? Like he knows God, loves God, and God shows up in this company, right? So he's talking about faith, and he's talking about getting tired. He said, eventually, I got tired, angel number 111, of trying to do it my way. And I found someone who had results that I desired. And I made the decision that I was just going to do what they said do. I was just going to follow the instructions to the T, right? I wasn't going to deviate. I wasn't going to add to. I wasn't going to take away. I was just going to follow the instructions. And he said that what I discovered was when I followed the instructions, I eventually got the results. Y'all wondering why you ain't where you want to be? Because you won't follow the instructions. We're not where we desire to be because we will not follow the instructions. And a lot of times we think about the instructions as only being the instructions that come from God. But that's not it, right? So there are some instructions that we're going to get directly from God, but there are some instructions that God is going to give us through people who he has placed in our life to be roadmaps, guides, mentors, to help us to get there, right? Because there's something about having accomplished certain things or done certain things that will give you a different perspective, right? And so you can tell someone, okay, so this is what you need to do. Do this, right? Some formulas are just the formula, and like that just is it. Like the laws of sowing and reaping are the laws of sowing and reaping, and they just work, right? The principle of tithing is the principle of tithing, and it just works. Like these are laws and principles that work. And if you want to know whether or not they work, look at the lives of some of the most successful people, whether we're talking about in ministry or in just life. See, look, I'm gonna tell y'all something. You want this life, this dream life, but your trifling behind will not even follow instructions. And when I say that, I need y'all to understand, I'm also talking to me. Angel number 122. We won't follow instructions. We want to add to, subtract, deviate. We always think we know more. We always think we know better. We always think that we can improve upon what's already been done. But you ain't even accomplished what's been done yet. Are you already trying to improve upon it? We've got to get to the place where our pride is not in the way. Now listen to me. I'm not saying follow the instructions of everyone. Everyone doesn't have your best interest at heart. But when you find people that genuinely care about you, care about your success, care about your well-being, I'm not talking about they're just using you. I'm talking about they genuinely love you and care about you. You don't even have to trust them, trust the God in them. Trust that if God connected you to them, he connected you for a reason. I will not lie. I'm not good at just following instructions. I'm not good at just following people because I struggle to trust people. So what God has been doing with me and dealing with me, honestly, said, listen, I didn't ask you to trust them. I didn't ask them to be flawless. I didn't ask them to be perfect. I said, I need you to just follow their directions. If the directions are not going to cause harm to you or other people, follow the directions. It is God who places people in positions of authority. God. No man can just place himself in a position of authority. God places people in positions of authority, even when we don't like the people and we don't like what they're doing. Only God can place people in positions of authority. The enemy may be good, but he ain't got that much power. So whether you agree with people, whether you support what they do or not, there's a reason God has them in that position. Now, you can spend your time trying to debate and figure out why they're in the position, or you can follow the instructions. So yesterday, Dr. Emanite gave us some instructions. He didn't just give the instructions, he illustrated how to carry out the instructions, right? Now, if people give instructions, but they don't show you how to do it, you can say, well, I didn't know how to do it. But when people give you instructions and they show you how to do it and you don't do it, you're operating in rebellion if God placed you under that person's authority. Now, that's our issue, right? We are a rebellious generation. We're a rebellious generation. We don't want to listen to nobody. We know more than everybody. We think we're smarter than everybody. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I'm talking to me. But just because you've had success in one area doesn't mean that you automatically know how to have success in every area, which is why we have need of one another. Now, this whole following the instructions, I need to break this down. I need to break this down because I don't want to create confusion, nor do I want you all walking out, getting off this live and thinking you're supposed to follow everybody's instructions. That is not the case, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay? Hold on a second. I need a piece of paper. Listen, when it comes to instructions. And I'm not saying that God can't use anybody. God can use whoever he chooses. But when it comes to instructions for your life, okay, there are some things that you want to use to measure and determine, is this God, right? And is this person a person from whom I need to follow their instructions? So let me tell you the first thing. The first thing is, this is not about education. It's not about degrees. It's not about how long people have been saved. It's not about that superficial stuff, but there are indicators, listen to me, that help you to determine whether or not to follow the instructions given. Okay. So the first thing is, has God placed this person in a position of authority in your life? What is an authority in your life? Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me look up authority. Authority. The power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. A person or organization having power or control in a particular, typically political or administrative sphere, right? A person who is an authority, hold on, because there's some more, hold on. The power to influence others, especially because of one's commanding manner or one's recognized knowledge about something. The confidence resulting from personal expertise. A person with extensive or specialized knowledge about a subject, an expert, right? Look, I believe that one of the things that has happened to us when it comes to listening to authority is we got jaded. We got jaded by the times maybe we listened to someone and maybe something didn't turn out the way we thought it was going to turn out, right? Or we thought it should turn out, okay? Maybe it was, we still have mommy issues and daddy issues, and we never worked through those. So now we rebel against anyone who tries to tell us something, okay? Maybe it is that you are in a place where you don't feel like you need anyone, right? You don't feel like you need anyone. My question is always, has God given this person authority to speak in your life? And God giving someone authority to speak in your life is based on relationship, okay? It's based on relationship. Now, he can use people like periodically, incidentally, right? To give you a word of knowledge, right? To give you a prophetic word. But just because someone gives you a word of knowledge or a prophetic word doesn't mean that that person has authority in your life. Okay? People with authority in your life, you have relationship with, right? You respect that person. Okay. Relationship is key though to authority, right? You have that person, listen to me. That person cares for you, cares about the outcomes, cares about. Now, there are people who will have authority in your life that don't care nothing about your outcomes or about you. They're called bosses, okay? Employers, right? But they are an authority in your life, and they've been given authority over you because they sign your paycheck, right? So they've been given authority, right? You are an employee. You are to serve their interest or the interest of the company, as long as it does not cause you to break the law or do something that's going to harm someone else. And if it does do either of those things, you have to decide whether or not that's a person that you want to be under the authority of. Is this where I need to be? You got to ask yourself these questions. But there's relationship that comes when it comes to authority. And spiritual authority is not something to be taken lightly. And many times, because we've been in positions where pastors may have abused or prophets may have abused the spiritual authority that we've given them in our life, we've given them. We have issues, or even that God's given them in our lives. Okay. So then we don't want to listen to nobody. Y'all listen, until we break that, we cannot, in all honesty, say that we are submitted to God. We cannot, right? If we won't submit to those that he has placed in authority over our life or in our life, then we are not submitted to him. You are not going to be submitted to God and have no submission in the earth realm. It doesn't happen like that. There always is submission in the earth realm, right? When you are a child, you are submitted to your parents, okay? Listen, when you are married, you're submitted to your spouse. When you are in a ministry or sitting in a ministry, you're submitted to the leadership of that house. And if you cannot submit to the leadership of that house, go to a house where you can submit. But if you have no submission in your life, you are totally out of order and you are a renegade. And that's a dangerous place to be. Now, I'm not saying, and I want y'all to hear me clearly, because I am a big believer in the importance of following God and doing what God tells you. But there is also an order that God has established for a reason. There's a reason God establishes order, and it's not for people to just control you and manipulate you. That is not it. But where there is no order, there is no covering. Yes, Jesus covers us. He absolutely does. But we also have need of. Listen to me, y'all. Y'all can like it or not like it. I'm trying to tell y'all, it don't all feel good to me, but it is what the Lord is speaking. We also have need of human accountability. We need human accountability because, baby, without human accountability, we will be left to our own mind, our own thoughts, and our own devices. And I'm going to tell y'all something. The heart is deceitfully wicked, okay? And it will have you thinking you right when you wrong. It will swear you right. Have y'all ever done that? Have y'all ever just been like, I know I'm right, and I'm right, but you was wrong as two left shoes? Anybody ever did that? Anybody ever been in that place? I know y'all may be beyond that. Y'all may not have ever done that, but I know I've had times in my life where I just knew I was right, but I was wrong. And it was only later that I realized just how wrong I was. I remember I was about 11 or 12, and my mama told me to make up the bed. Well, my mama didn't raise me, right? My mama didn't raise me. I was raised by my grandparents. I lived with my grandparents, and my mama was at the house, and she told me, you need to make that bed up. One, I didn't like how she said it, and two, oh, now you want to be the mama. Now you want to, where you been? Why you ain't been being the mama? Now you want to show up and be the mama? Now you want to tell me what I need to do? Listen to me. Baby, all of that attitude and rebellion rose up in me. And I said, I'm not making the bed up. And she said, oh, you gonna make this bed up, angel number 1, 2. Oh, you gonna make this bed up. Because guess what? I've been about, I can show you better than I can tell you, because I done told you didn't believe it. I'm going to show you. So she got a switch or a belt or something, and she was whooping me. And I stood there and I looked her in her face while she was whooping me. And I cried, not a tear. I ain't saying it didn't hurt. It hurt. But she was not getting a tear from me. I was not budging. Like, how dare you? She had every right to tell me to make that bed up, because whether she raised me or not, she was still my mother. She was older than me. I was supposed to respect her and honor her, and I didn't, okay? You know the consequence of that? You end up having children who do you the same way. You end up having that show up in your life, right? Because, baby, I'm telling you, what you sow, you shall reap. And if you think that you've escaped the reaping, just know that seed sown may not produce a harvest right now, but it will produce a harvest eventually. It may not show up in your life, but it's going to show up in your lineage's life. So you need to understand that those things are real. So I stood there. I didn't cry. I thought I had done something. She started crying. I'm like, I won. Fast forward. My daughter is running away off and on for a year, right? And just so incredibly rebellious, right? Just ain't gonna listen, right? And I remember one morning we had found her and brought her home, and got up the next morning. She had taken a bath, took her clothes, and left again, right? She ate, she gonna make sure she eat, and left again. And I remember calling my mama crying because it hit me. I said, Mama, I am so sorry that I did not listen to you. I said, remember the time when you told me to make the bed up and I didn't make the bed up, and I told you I wasn't making the bed up and you whooped me and I was determined I wasn't going to cry. I am so sorry that I disrespected you. I am so sorry that I treated you like that, Mama. Please forgive me. Because suddenly I understood there are some things that it may take you a while to realize how wrong you were. Okay? But if you listen to the voice of God, eventually you will realize it. There were times in ministry when I was out of order, but I felt like I was right. And I just felt like they didn't understand because they didn't have the relationship with God that I had. And so that's why they didn't understand. No, they understood some consequences of some things. They understood the frailty of some situations that I didn't have to be responsible for. See, pastoring is different, right? When you're a prophet, you go give a prophetic word and you leave, but the pastor still got to deal with the people who are left. The pastor's the one that's got to pick up the pieces. The pastor's the one that's got to do the counseling. The pastor's the one that's got to help people navigate through things. It's easy to drop a prophetic word, drop an atomic bomb in people's lives, blow their life up, and then walk away. Somebody got to pick it up, or those people can be devastated, lost, and die in the midst of your word. This is why prophets have to be seasoned. You have to go through the seasoning. Anybody ever bought a cast iron skillet? Anybody ever bought a cast? Y'all talking to me because y'all not talking to me. Anybody ever bought a cast iron skillet? Anybody got a cast iron skillet in their house? You know, the good one, the one you fry your chicken in, the one that you oil up and fix your cornbread in and put it in the oven. Anybody got a cast iron skillet? I need to know if y'all know what I'm talking about. Good morning, Wesley. Donna said, yes, I have too. Well, when you purchase cast iron skillets, right? The power of the cast iron skillet is not just that it's cast iron, right? I remember my grandmother had several, and I remember her talking about seasoning the skillet. Hey, Rashida, how are you, beautiful? April said, on the way in my moving truck. Amen. They talk about seasoning the skillet. I know that's right, Wesley. Okay? When you season the skillet, you have to put some oil in it, and you got to put it on the stove, right? Yes, Jackie. You got to let the temperatures get high. You've got to allow almost like a burning. Listen, when they brand new, they don't cook as well as when they had a chance to get blackened, right? It's something about the coating. It's something about the oil that gets into the cast iron that produces a certain. Now, of course, they always say stuff ain't good for you later, right? But it cooks food a certain way after it's been seasoned. It'll cook it when it's brand new, right? It'll still cook it. But there's something different about when it's been seasoned, when the pot has been seasoned. So we've got to go through seasoning. Seasoning is important. It is crucial in every area of our life. Our problem is we get a little bit of knowledge and we think we know everything, and now we just run on. Okay? Now, let me say this, because people have a tendency to think I'm talking about them. If if it's hitting you, I'm talking about you, right? But I am not sitting here saying, oh, I'm going to say this to hit this person. That's not what this is. We all have to go through these processes, okay? So this is not personal. I'm not targeting anyone. I'm targeting all of us because we've got to learn these lessons. We've got to understand this stuff because we're talking about following the instructions. We don't do well at following instructions from people we don't respect. If you don't respect someone, it's difficult to follow their instructions, right? It's difficult. Am I the only one that's difficult for it? Because if I don't respect you, it's going to be difficult for me to follow your instructions. But even if I do respect you, when we've had trauma from people in authority, we will tend to rebel against those things. It's why I had to get to the point where I let people do them. I had to divorce myself from the outcomes. I had to just love people. If God gives me something to give them, I give it to them and I let them have it. I can't invest my time, my energy, and my emotions in trying to make it come to pass or trying to make them understand or trying to make them get it. Eventually they'll get it or not, right? But that's not my job. My job is to release the word. As a pastor, my job is to be a place, a sounding board, a place where God can speak and give instruction, where I can teach the word of God. Because, baby, I'm telling you, if you hear the word of God enough, eventually something ought to click. If you are not been turned over to a reprobate mind, eventually you ought to hear the word and there ought to be conviction. There ought to be something in you that takes that word. Listen, I've not preached a word that didn't convict me. I've not preached a word that didn't touch me. Anytime I preach something, God is first dealing with me. I'm the first partaker of what he's given, right? Because it's not just about me helping other people grow. It's about me growing. It is that ability to be humble. That even though you're smart and even though you know a lot, that you don't know everything. And so God will always put people in your life who can help you grow even more. They may be people that you know that you are actually in relationship with, or they may be people that you listen to and study. The great leaders, the great teachers, right? Patrice said, you are teaching this morning. Yes, the word always deals with you first. Yes, it does. But if you don't think you can learn anything from anyone, that's a scary place to be. You are operating in pride and delusion. And I can only say it because I've done it. That's the only reason I can say it. I've operated in pride and delusion. All of us, if we just be honest, that's the problem. We don't want to be honest, right? Because to be honest means that we don't know everything. To be honest means that we've made mistakes. To be honest means that we made wrong steps, right? To be honest means that someone might look at us and say, well, they didn't. Because we allow our saboteurs to step in and condemn us for our mistakes or our missteps, or, when we had to take the long way around, when there was a shorter way, but because we didn't listen to the instructions, we didn't follow the instructions, we now got to take the long way around. That's why there are some words when I give people, listen, you can operate on this word, you can take this word now, but there's a window. Sometimes there's a window. There's a window to a word, right? And if you don't operate on it, if you don't act on the word in the window, you're going to have to wait for it to come back around. Going to have to wait. Y'all listen. I ain't saying take instructions from everybody and anybody, because not everybody and anybody has proven themselves to be someone who you can take instructions from, right? Not everyone and anyone has your best interest at heart. But when people do, and you fail to listen, and you fail to follow the instructions, you can expect your path. Not saying you won't get there, but you can expect your path and your journey to be longer. So I'm saying all of this to say this, right? Today I made a decision. I'm about to follow this man's instructions to the letter. I'm not going to add nothing. I'm not going to put my twist on it. I'm not going to listen. This man has made millions and I'm trying to make my first million. I'm not adding nothing to it. I'm just going to follow his instructions. Like, I'm going to follow his instructions. He's proven himself to be someone who genuinely cares. He's proven himself to be someone who knows what he's talking about. He's proven himself to be someone who desires to help others to have success in their life. He's proven himself that he's not just about him. He's proven it. He's proven it to me. I've watched him. I've observed him. I've communicated with him and interacted with him. And he's proven that. He's proven that he's someone that respects me and respects others. He respects people. He loves people. He cares about people, right? So if he's given instructions and the instructions don't harm me or harm anybody else, and they're not for evil intent, why wouldn't I follow them? Yeah, because y'all know, we think we know better. So this morning I decided I'm following the instructions. Because listen, before you can be a great leader, you have to be a great follower. And I've mastered following in certain arenas. I absolutely have. I've served in ministry. Listen, I've served, okay? Haven't mastered following in business. I haven't mastered duplication. I haven't mastered that, right? So I know if I'm going to have maximum effectiveness in the lives of those that I'm connected to, I have to grow. I have to humble myself, right? I have to follow the instructions, because the truth of the matter is people don't do what you say. They do what you do. That's my admission today. That's my confession today. You know, we've got to learn to follow instructions. We've got to learn to humble ourselves. We've got to learn to allow God to use those people placed in positions of authority in our life to help us get to where we're going. And we've got to all continuously be in the process of growing. There are areas where I'm definitely an authority, but there are some other areas where I'm not. And so while I may know some things, authority comes with evidence, and that evidence shows up in your life. Okay? Authority comes with evidence, and that evidence shows up in your life. So let's get our evidence up. Let's get our evidence up. Let's follow the instructions. There was something else that he said. He said, you know, follow the instructions like a child. Have you ever told your kids to do something and you told them what to do and how to do it, and they didn't do it the way you said? And you said, I told you. Now, you know the reason why you told them, angel number 144. You know the reason why you told them to do it like that. They don't know the reason. They're just thinking, you know, oh, you don't know what they don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to do it like this. And I'm not saying that there's not multiple ways to get to a desired end. I'm not saying that. Sometimes you just need to follow the instructions. It's why in the military, they teach them to just follow instructions and listen, just do what you're told. We don't have time to go back and forth. Because if we go back and forth, people are going to die. So I need you to follow the instructions. That's challenging because, you know, in the military, you know, it sometimes requires people to do things that do cost people their life. That does require people to do things that brings harm to others, right? It's a part of it. And then people got to deal with that afterwards. So the government, the military doesn't necessarily have your best interest at heart, right? But you can't afford to put everybody else's life at risk because you won't follow instructions. April said, same thing I tell my students in surgery, there's no room for error. when you're dealing with surgery, there's no room for error. There's no room for you to be a renegade. There's no room for you to just do whatever you want to do. There's no room for that because it will cost someone their life and their blood will literally be on your hands. Any power that you have been given, you know that what comes with great power is also great responsibility. Okay. You know, uh, Jesus said this, unless you become like a little child, unless you become like a little child, we need to become like a little child in some areas of our life so that God can grow us into an adult, a healthy, 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 whole, functioning adult, not just an adult. Because every person that reaches a certain age is not healthy and they're not whole. Okay? My baby said, the military just need the job done. Absolutely, babe. Absolutely. Hey, cousin, how you doing? Good morning. So today, make a decision to follow the instructions. And if you can't submit to the authority that you're under, you don't need to be there, right? You need to, but everybody needs to be submitted to someone. There's got to be someone that you respect enough for you to say, okay, I'm going to let you mentor me because you got something that I want and need in my life. But y'all, hey, I'm just telling y'all what God told me, that I got to follow the instructions. So I'll be following the instructions, whether anybody else does or not. That's not my issue. My issue is, and I am accountable for me and the example that I set. I can't make anybody do anything. You know, it's one of the things that I had to learn. You can't make grown people do nothing. You barely can even make kids do something. They still got to come in agreement with it, right? So I'm following the instructions that God gives me, and the instructions of those people that he's placed in positions of authority in my life. Not that they control me or own me, but there's a reason that they're placed in my life, right? Now, does that mean that I won't have conversations if I don't understand? I'll have a conversation if I don't understand it. But at some point, some stuff don't need a conversation. Some stuff just need action. Just do it. Like, just do it. May not understand everything right now, right? Some stuff you only understand after you do it, after you go through it. You know, one of the things that I love about April, and I know sometimes people think that I just be throwing April's name out there. Y'all, listen, let me tell y'all something. April don't like everything that I say. She don't like everything that I say, but I also don't try to control her. I don't try to control her. I don't try to manipulate. I'll tell her what God said to me to give her, right? And then I'll let her do with that. Take it to God. That goes for any of you. If God gives me a word for you, take that word to God and see if it's God. If it ain't God, don't do it. But take the word to God and see if that be of God, right? But one of the things that's happened for April is, she said, no, I don't. I know she'd be mad at me sometimes. I'd be like, girl, I know you mad, but it's okay. I know, I get it, right? But one of the things I love about her is she is living, breathing proof of what happens when you follow the instructions. I don't have to do no debate with her. I don't have to go through no long thing with her. I told her this. This is what I said. I said, April, you need to write your book. You need to write your book. I said, write your book. Listen, y'all, instructions make a difference between life and death, prosperity and poverty. Listen, health and sickness, instructions. I said, you need to write your book. I said, this is what you need to do. I said, you basically got what you need. I just need you to do it, and you need to get it done by the end of March. This was last year, the end of March last year. She got it done in April. but it was done, right? She got it done. She just went to work. She did it. What she didn't know, I told her, I said, listen, look, you need to do this. You need to do this. Here's the information for this. I didn't have to handhold her. I didn't have to walk her through it. Listen, April got the information that I gave her, took it, ran with it, did what she needed to do, got the book done, got it published, and now she's working on book number 2. All because she what? Followed instructions. Followed instructions. When she was talking about, well, I just think I'm going to get an apartment. I said, did God say that? Because I know you told me that God said a house. So did God say get an apartment? And she said, no, but, I'm just thinking, the money. Listen, you can do what you want to, but I suggest that you do what God said. What? Now she's in a house, a 4-bedroom house, a nice house, a house that has all the features that she wanted because she just followed instructions. God will give you instructions. He'll send people to give you instructions. He'll give you support in fulfilling the instructions. You ain't even got to do it all by yourself. But we have to humble ourselves. We have to put our pride aside so that God can do what he wants to do. I know that not the Sunday, but the Sunday before, what I did as it pertained to my husband, that was God. That was God. That was God. And it was God because I was being renegade. I was being rogue. And he had to reel me in. He said, y'all will never be on one accord as long as you operate like this. Because you know more. You know better, right? You'll never be one. So listen, I need you to get in order and divine alignment with my plan for your life. Don't worry if it don't come as fast as you want. Don't worry if he don't understand everything. Don't worry if he don't get some stuff. Don't worry if his faith ain't your faith. Don't worry about that. Let me take care of that. You be in submission. Until we learn submission, because submission is not about the other person. It's about being in submission to God. Until we learn submission, we'll always be renegades, rogue, we'll be orphans, wandering in a wilderness. Because we will never follow the instructions that get us to our destiny. It's up to us what we do with it, right? Anita said, on-time teaching, tried to do intervention on a sister who has diabetes and living on the streets, giving plasma and trying to communicate with this person. It is not safe, yet they won't listen. And you can't personalize it, because what I've learned is you can't want things for people. You can want things for people more than they want it, but you can't make them want it. You can't make them want it. So what you got to do is you got to drip on the people who need it, but you got to come into connection and community with the people who want it. There's a difference. You don't throw the other people away, but you work with the ones that want it. You don't throw the ones that want it to the side because you're trying to convince somebody else that they need it. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's not effective. And you'll frustrate yourself. You're going to frustrate that person and nobody wins. Okay? Listen, this Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be doing, let me put that up there, but I'm going to be doing the Destiny Driven Masterclass. I told you that to get to destiny, you need instructions, right? So one of the things that God did was he gave me like a roadmap of things that people need to look at to create their destiny map, right? Everybody needs a destiny map. You need to know where you're going, right? If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. You're always going to be wandering in the wilderness. So literally, God gave me the things to consider and how to help people create their personalized destiny map. Right? The Destiny Driven Masterclass, I give you all the things that you need to consider, all the things that you need to look at when it comes to creating your destiny roadmap. Everybody needs one, okay? So listen, go register at bit.ly/Destiny Driven 2004, bit.ly/Destiny Driven 2004. And if you believe that what you've seen me accomplish, what you've seen in my life, has given me a place where I actually have some authority or some expertise on some things, right? And you want to benefit from that expertise, go register and take advantage of it. Afterpay is available. There's 2 levels. There's regular, that's 50, and VIP, that's 88. The VIP gives you a 1-hour individual session with me that normally costs $125. But it's your choice, right? But it's available on Saturday. So if you're serious about getting to destiny, if you're serious about really creating the destiny roadmap for your life, do something about it and start by investing in you. I pray that this word blessed you. I pray that you guys got what you needed out of it. I need you to know that destiny is your portion. Abundance is your portion. Prosperity is your portion. Good health is your portion. But no one can make you get that. It's up to you to choose it. So know that I absolutely love you guys to life and life more abundant. If the word has blessed you, put a seed in the ground. Put a seed in the ground and give it an assignment. And you can do that at Cash App $DRV Johnson 777. Cash App $DRV Johnson 777. If you've not sown your seed, your $55 seed, $555 seed, $5,555 seed, $55,555 seed, $555,555 seed, put your seed in the ground. Don't miss that window for that seed. Get it in the ground before the end of this month, before resurrection, so that in the resurrection there can be a harvest untold. It works. The principle works, y'all. It's not magic. It's not hocus pocus. The principle works, and it works for those who work it. Listen, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed. Mwah.